Okay, what is up, everybody? I am going to be talking about the Sagittarius new moon that we have happening on November 26th at 9:06 a.m. Central Time. So, I've got the chart pulled up over here, so I'm going to be drawing on the chart and walking you through all the aspects that are happening while I talk a little bit about the energy that we've been moving out of. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Scorpio energy and then what is to be expected with this Sagittarius new moon, with Sagittarius season, and then a little bit into December as well, because we're coming up on some eclipses to start off 2020. We've got the huge Saturn and Pluto conjunction happening in January, the whole pileup of Capricorn planets. So I'm going to break it all down for you. All right. So first I'm just going to circle the sun and the moon over here together in the sign of Sagittarius. So that's what makes it a new moon when the sun and the moon are together. They're at exactly 4 degrees conjunct. So that is our new moon. And to just set the stage a little bit, so to talk about the energy that we've been moving out of and then what we're going to be moving into. So I feel like this new moon is a huge breath of fresh air after the Scorpio energy that we've been moving out of. So Sagittarius is the sign that comes after Scorpio, right? And Scorpio, that energy, that season that we've been in, and we still have some planets in Scorpio. As you can see here, we've got Mercury in Scorpio and we've got Mars in Scorpio. So we still have some of the Scorpio energy. Mercury went retrograde in Scorpio, and it just recently started moving forward again. And it's not going to be out of its shadow period until December. So we've still got some of that Scorpio energy going on. So what I feel like is throughout this year, it's been just, crazy transformations and evolution and just growing so much, doing so much shadow work on ourselves, especially throughout this past Scorpio season. I think it's been a lot for all of us that we've all been going through it in different ways, doing our shadow work to the best of our ability. The Scorpio energy rules. It's about going deep, going beneath the surface, and bringing up what's been buried, what we've kind of shoved into places, into corners of ourselves that we don't want to look at. So it's like going to those places, bringing it up to the surface and looking at it, understanding the ways that we self-sabotage, the ways that we self-destruct, because the Scorpio energy can definitely have a self-destruct button or a self-sabotage button where it has very intense feelings, very intense emotions, very intense desires. The Scorpio energies, the motto, the phrase for it is "I desire." So they have super strong desires, and it's like when they set their mind to doing something, they're just so focused and committed and passionate, but they can do things that sabotage their success or themselves, being able to move forward. Maybe it has to do with the hidden fears in their psyche and their subconscious that have gone, unattended. The Scorpio energy is a water sign, so we can easily absorb the stories, the energy from other people, and kind of hold on to that and claim that as our own. So I feel like throughout the Scorpio season, we have moved through a lot of our shadow work. We've gotten to know really well the ways that we self-sabotage or self-destruct, the shadow material that's kind of hiding within our own closet, so to speak. And hopefully we've all been willing to go to those places and to do that work and to sit with ourselves and to allow ourselves to feel maybe the fear or, being afraid of what's to come, because I think that we're on kind of the precipice, on the edge of stepping into something huge. And next year we just have these huge aspects that are happening pretty much right after Sagittarius season. We're going to have all these planets move into Capricorn. So it's going to be much more focused on building, on stability, on structure, on what it is that we're wanting to grow. So during this Sagittarius season, at the time of the Sag new moon, I think it's about kind of like squeezing out any bit of joy and excitement and pleasure from life, and get really clear on what our ultimate truth is, what our ultimate perspective is on the world, what makes sense to us, how we want to live, really like affirming that, standing strong in that, so that we know exactly what it is that we're wanting to build when we move into Capricorn season, when we move into January of 2020, when we start off the year with eclipses. So, okay, so let's just talk about the Sagittarius energy a little bit. So with the sun and the moon in Sag, the new moon here in Sag, it's at 4 degrees. So you're going to want to look at where 4 degrees of Sagittarius is falling in your chart. You want to see what house you have 4 degrees of Sagittarius in, and then that'll give you, greater insight as to what area of your life this could be affecting the most. But for all of us, I think we're feeling, after going through the darkness, through the depths of Scorpio season, Sagittarius is the release. It's the expansion. It's like, okay, I've done that deep shadow work. I've gone to those places within myself. Now let's like party. Let's celebrate. Let's have a good time. Let's understand what we're doing here, what life is about. And yes, sure, we're all, moving through stuff. We all have hard experiences, traumatic things that we need to process, but Sagittarius is very much about like growth and expansion and seeing things from the bigger picture. And so at the time of this new moon, I think we are getting kind of it's like a refresh, like a restart button on just seeing life from a new perspective after doing that deep shadow work. And, right at the time of this new moon and the days leading up to this new moon, we had Mars here in Scorpio at 4 degrees. It's directly opposing Uranus at 3 degrees. So just a few days before this new moon, Mars was at 3 degrees. So it was a direct opposition. So now it's kind of moving off of that opposition. But Mars is the planet of action. It's the planet of how we go about moving forward in life. And with Mars and Scorpio, it is super focused. It is focused. It's committed. It can almost be obsessive. Like, again, once it makes up its mind on what it wants to do and decides, what they're passionate about, what their desires are, Mars and Scorpio will intensely go down that path and follow it and almost, want to consume it, because it's so passionate. It's so like desires this one thing so much. And with Uranus opposing Mars, Uranus is the planet of liberation. It wants to help us break free from stuck energy, from stuck situations, mental like constructs. It just wants to liberate us from anything that's been holding us back, to shake up our beliefs, to shake up how we go about doing things in this case. So with Uranus being, a major player in this new moon, making a strong aspect to Mars here, I think that maybe the few days leading up to the new moon and at the time of the new moon, we've had hopefully some awarenesses, maybe some like sudden downloads or flashes of insight or inspiration as to how we want to go about taking action now moving forward. It's like we can't continue to do things in the same old way. Uranus wants us to innovate. It wants us to revolutionize, the current systems in our lives. It wants, again, to help us break free from old things that are just stuck and that have reached their shelf life. And so I think we're getting, again, like a breath of fresh air on how we go about doing things, how we go about moving forward, just needing to take the information, the downloads, the awarenesses that come through, and to really take the time to integrate them, to recognize these messages that are coming, the situations, the people, the opportunities, however it shows up for you, these outside things that are coming in, or maybe it's an internal realization of how you need to change moving forward. I think we need to take the time to slowly integrate that, to sit with that, and to integrate it into our daily lives. And then with Mercury, we've got Mercury here in Scorpio too. So Mercury has been retrograde. It's moving direct now, and it's moving back forward. It's moving forward again through the Scorpio energy. So it's going to be moving through Scorpio for a little bit until December, and then it's going to move into Capricorn. But with Mercury moving through Scorpio now, it's like, again, we've done all of that deep internal work of reviewing, revisiting old stories that we tell ourselves, old fears like scarcity programming. And now with Mercury moving direct, hopefully we've done that work to get really clear on what those stories are. And Mercury is just continuing to receive more clarity as it's moving forward. You know, generally for people, unless if you were born with Mercury being retrograde in your chart, like you were born with that energy, then generally for most of us, Mercury retrograde is a time when we are pausing, we're reviewing, we're gathering information. And so with Mercury moving forward again, it's like we're seeing the information more clearly. We've gained clarity on what it is, those stories, those old things that we needed to revisit. And now with it moving forward, it's like, and with Mars and Scorpio as well, with both of these here, we're very focused, we're very committed. It's like we know what it is that we want and what it is that we need, what our desires are. And the Sagittarius energy is like kind of pushing us in that direction to open up, to go for it. Sagittarius is very much the optimistic sign in the zodiac. It's about expansion and growth and learning and a higher perspective, seeing things from the ultimate perspective. Sagittarius loves to travel to foreign places, understand different cultures, different spiritual practices, just different ways of living, and kind of figure out what their ultimate truth is, and to stand really strong in that. You know, they can almost dive down that path so deeply that then they teach it or they share it with other people. So I think right now for all of us, we're really getting committed. You know, the Scorpio energy, it's like, okay, we remember what's important to us, what our deepest desires are. We've done that, the deep shadow work, the clearing out of the old stories that are keeping us from expanding, from moving in this new direction, this Sagittarius energy here. And so, yeah, the new moon, I feel, is just a big breath of fresh air, and encouraging us to just soak up the excitement, the enthusiasm, these new awarenesses. You know, maybe if you're, I don't know, if you're traveling, if you're taking in new information, if you're meeting people that are opening up your eyes a little bit, changing your perspective, to just soak all of this energy in and to let it encourage you and inspire you to continue to like stand firm in what your ultimate truth is. Because by the time Capricorn season comes into late December and then early January, like we've got the eclipses, we've got all this energy moving into Capricorn, which will be about work and stability and building structure and having like a solid foundation in our lives. So I think this year we've gotten super clear on what it is that we need to do for ourselves, the ways that we've been holding ourselves back, Scorpio energy of what's been beneath the surface that's like, you know, kind of quietly hindering our progress. And the Sagittarius energy wants us to just like release all of that, to let go of the heaviness that we've been working through, and to embrace these new opportunities that are coming into our lives. At the time of this new moon, we also have Venus here that has just moved into Capricorn. So leading up to this new moon, we've had Venus and Jupiter here in Sagittarius, and it has been at the galactic center, which is about 26, 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And so this is a really beautiful aspect that we have happening. Jupiter only touches the galactic center once about every 12 years. And so the galactic center is 26, 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And that is, it's basically, you know, a connection to the other worlds, to the other realms. It's like just, I see it as like light, just kind of, and light codes just like flushing in and really realigning you with what your ultimate truth is. Like maybe we've forgotten, maybe this year has been really hard, we've been through a lot, and I feel like with Venus and Jupiter, the most benefic, like positive planets really that we have. Venus is the planet of love, of beauty, of harmony. Jupiter is the planet of joy, of expansion, of growth. And so right before this new moon, with both of them together at the galactic center, it's like we're just being flooded with downloads, with information, with like experiences, things that help us to remember who we truly are, to excite us about this direction that we're going in, about life in general. And so at the time of the new moon now, we have Venus that's moved into Capricorn. So with Venus in Capricorn, it's focused more on, you know, on working. Venus, the planet of love, what we love doing, is now shifted out of that Sagittarius, like party, explore, adventure, you know, ultimate highest perspective, just an uplifting silver lining type energy. It's now moved into Capricorn, which is much more work focused, wanting to build a solid foundation, to have structure, to understand, like, you know, okay, who's with me on this journey? Like, what do I need? What are the materials that I need to get there? What are the steps that I need to have, you know, in place to get me to the direction that I'm wanting to go in? So little by little, as you know, each planet begins to move into Capricorn, and then we have the huge conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn in January of 2020. That's going to be a big time of just like solidifying this path, these new awarenesses that we've been receiving throughout this year, and that we're receiving at the time of this new moon. In January of 2020, it's going to be about building that, like setting that foundation, doing the work, just being very, you know, work focused. And so, yeah, before we move into that energy, this is like the expansion, the remembrance with it at the galactic center, that we can do this, that we were, you know, made to do what it is that we're doing, what you have a strong pull towards, what your intuition is telling you to do at this time, to fully dive down that path, to commit to it, to stay optimistic and hopeful and positive. That's very much the Sagittarius energy. And to stand in your ultimate truth. It's like a coming out of what you're all about, what you're into. Maybe in the past you haven't fully opened up and let other people see what was going on for you, what you're excited about, what you're passionate about. And Sagittarius is a very loud, very blunt, very like matter-of-fact energy that wants you to just embody fully what your ultimate truth is, and to share it with other people, and to understand that everybody else, you know, everybody has their own ultimate truth, and yours isn't better than anybody else. That can be the low road of Sagittarius, is that they can be very self-righteous, or feeling like their truth is the only truth. So I think it's an accepting of, you know, where everybody's at this time, what your ultimate truth is, what makes sense for other people, how they want to live their life. But it's a very expansive, uplifting energy that's just, you know, Sagittarius, again, it's the release after the Scorpio energy. So it's like the lightness after we've been through the dark of the Scorpio energy. And yeah, this is the last little bit of time that we have with Jupiter and Sagittarius, where Jupiter loves to be before it moves into Capricorn again and joins all of the planets that are going to be having a big party in the Capricorn energy, which is very different than Sagittarius. Again, Capricorn's about work, structure, stability, building a solid foundation. And Sagittarius is about play and joy and expansion and growth and learning new things and seeing things from the highest perspective. So soaking in the last bit of Jupiter and Sagittarius that we have, that's been, you know, kind of this journey that we've been on throughout this whole year, of figuring out what our ultimate truth is, of what we enjoy, what brings us joy in life, how we want to live our lives. Sagittarius is very much like the nomad, the gypsy, the wanderer that lives differently than what society tells you to do. Sagittarius wants to go out and to experience it and to explore it on their own. And so I feel like we've been doing a lot of that, you know, within ourselves, maybe externally. We've been going to different places throughout this whole year. We've taken in new perspectives. We've, you know, traveled to a certain degree, even if it's not physically traveling. Maybe we've, you know, read new things or met people or whatever that's expanded our mind and really helped us to get clear on how it is that we want to live. And I think these last few days leading up to the Sagittarius new moon, with some of the aspects that we have, like the Mars opposing Uranus, that's helping us to break free from, doing things the same old way. It wants us to bring, like, again, breathe in new fresh air, like shake up what's been stuck, what's been dead, and to bring in new ideas, new ways of viewing the world, new ways of operating in your world. What else? Yeah. Okay. So another aspect that we have happening is Mercury here at 14 degrees is making a really close trine, a 1 degree orb. So 1 degree apart here with Neptune. So Neptune is in Pisces at 15 degrees. Mercury is in Scorpio at 14 degrees. So those are supporting each other. And I think this is really helping us to envision life in a different way. Neptune is very otherworldly energy. It's like receiving messages from source, from spirit, from your guides, from your ancestors, just an internal knowing, a feeling of what your dream life would be like, basically. And the Scorpio energy is it's very passionate. Again, it's very committed. It's very direct. It with Mars and Scorpio, it's like nothing can get in their way of building that like utopia for your life, of what you really, what really excites you and what really fills you up. I just feel like this is such a positive, expansive energy, this new moon. And then we have the full moon in Gemini happening after that. So it's just, I feel like new experiences, new opportunities are coming in after we've made our way out of the darkness of Scorpio season and extracting all the medicine from, doing that deep shadow work. Now it's like the release, the expansion, the joy, the seeing things from a new perspective, the getting really clear on what excites us, what makes us happy, what we're passionate about. And the Scorpio energy, Mars and Scorpio, is very focused, very determined. It's like not going to stop until it accomplishes that. And then, shortly after this new moon, after the full moon, we're moving into all the planets slowly moving into Capricorn, which is about really laying the solid foundation of how we're wanting to, to move forward, how we're wanting our lives to look after we've done all of the work, all of the growth, all of the evolution that we've been through this past year. Next year is going to be a huge rebuilding, like the foundation of our lives, how we show up, how we work, how we, show up in the outer world. I think it's just going to be a completely different version of ourselves. Not only do we have the Saturn and Pluto aspect, them being conjunct, which happens about every 35-ish years. So for a lot of us, we've never experienced this deep of a transformation, or like an uprooting of the stories from the past, the old, things that we would tell ourselves, just old, stuck, outdated beliefs and structures from the past. It's like a total death and rebirth of what we've known, what we've been, and now we're consciously like celebrating and choosing how we want it to be moving forward. Okay. I think that's pretty much everything. I would like to just share 2 cards that I got. So I love these. I got the Hanged Man for one of the cards for this new moon. And then I got the Ace of Swords. And so the Hangman was actually reversed. So how I'm interpreting these cards and understanding the astrology of what's going on, I feel like this is what we're being asked to do. We're being asked to trust, to let go, to surrender, to release our need for control, or to try to, force things to be a certain way, or to maybe try to force people to be on the same page as you, or to understand what it is that you're doing or how that you're wanting to live your life. I think that we could be having a lot of realizations at this time, again, with this aspect to Uranus here, that's like just shaking shit up and waking you up to what it is that you need to be doing. So there could be some realizations coming in of like how your path needs to look, how things need to change. And so I think it's just trusting. It's trusting and just, surrendering to this energy. Yeah, the Hanged Man, I mean, he's upside down. He's just totally let go. He's like upside down, but he's relaxed. I mean, look at his legs. So yeah, I think it's just trusting what the universe is doing to us right now, what the universe is wanting to move through us at this time. Yeah, because it's about to be the eclipse season. It's about to be January of 2020 with the Saturn Pluto conjunction. There's a ton of changes happening right now. So just to release and to let go, because I feel like we are being handed, or like a new life, a gift. And it's just our, our choice, our ability to believe in ourselves and to trust the universe that we need to go for it, that now is the time, that maybe it's stuff that you've been wanting to do for a long time, but you've been too afraid of doing it, or you haven't had the belief, the confidence in yourself, which is really where everything stems back to, is our ability to love and to trust ourselves and source and the universe, God, whatever word you'd like to attach to it. So yeah, I think it's just trusting what is being presented to you at this time, and trusting yourself that you have everything that you need to go on this new journey. Yeah, to go on this new journey that is being presented to you. Yeah, because it's about to be, yeah, it's been quite a year, and next year is going to be, it's a wild time to be alive. And I'm excited for all of the energy in January of 2020. I don't want to say like, yeah, that it's going to like easy or hard. I just think it's going to be a lot of, that we've been through so much growth and evolution this year, that it's a rebuilding of who we are, a restructuring of how we show up in the world. And yeah, in our belief, in our knowing in ourself, that we have the ability to create this life that we've been wanting to live. Sagittarius, yeah, finding the silver lining, putting the positive spin on things, seeing things from the ultimate perspective, like what is your highest truth, what makes sense to you about the world, about how you want to show up in the world, what you want your life to look like, just radically and unapologetically accepting who you are, and how you want to show up, how you want to operate in the world. Yeah, yeah, trusting yourself. Yep. Okay. All right. I think that covers all of it. It's about everything I'd like to share for this new moon. Yeah. The quincunx to Uranus. Uranus is just, I love Uranus. Uranus is here to, yeah, to help us, to help liberate us from stuff that's been stuck. So just accepting, like the hangman, just letting go and just releasing control, and trusting that the things that are being shaken up in our lives at this time is exactly what needs to be unearthed, so that we can, we can grow from more fertile soil. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. Yeah, I hope everybody is feeling the Sagittarius energy and has a good Sagittarius new moon. If you'd like to reach out for a reading, I am available for astrology readings, for past life regressions, and for tarot readings. So you can always do that through my site at cosmicguidance.online. And yeah, I hope that this supports you at this time. Happy new moon, and I will talk to you soon. All right.